Well, good evening everyone, and welcome to yet another one of our webinars which we hold here in Sandton City offices, South Africa, and good old Josie, Johannesburg. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome on board. And for the old hands or the old faces, hey, it's great to have you back again. Right, what are we going to be doing tonight? We're going to cover the third phase in our four-part series. And tonight we're going to cover how do I set up a profile. Now, a lot of people are probably asking, okay, now what is a profile and how is this going to help me with my trading? Well, in simple terms, a profile is just something that you can use, one of the many tools that are available that will assist you in analyzing the market and deciding how I'm going to put my trade in. Should I trade up? Should I trade down? Buy or sell, etc. So without further ado, let's go straight into it, shall we? Right. I already have a profile set up here. Now, before I go into profiles and how to set them up, I want to actually cover what different types of profiles or settings you can use. Okay. Now, for starters, this is just one of many, okay, but it's the most popular ones. There are three different styles of trading that you get. The first one is if you are a day trader. So in other words, you're in and out within the day or within 24 hours, and your time zones will be set on a shorter basis. All right? I'm going to use the example that I have in front of me right now. For a day trader, they would probably set their graphs up on, let's say, this one be 15 minutes, the second graph would be a 30-minute graph, and the third graph would be a 1-hour graph. Or you could say, no, hang on, I'm going to set this up on a 30 minutes, 1 hour, and 4 hours. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, but now, why would I want to do that? Right, let's go back, shall we, to one of my previous webinars. And in there, I said that before you put in a trade, what must you do? You've got to zoom out. You've got to stand back, as it were, take a bird's eye view and see what is the general movement or trend on the market before I go ahead and I put in my trade. Okay, so what we've done here is we've actually created three graphs in different time zones. I'm going to go and show you guys in a moment exactly how you do it, but I will explain first how this is going to work and how this is going to assist you. So I can then stand back, look at the movement, and slowly but surely I can zoom in a little bit at a time and get a general feeling of which direction the market is actually moving in. Now, for the example, let's get rid of the market watch somewhere. And I'm going to use my 1 hour graph. And I'm just going to enlarge it so you guys can see nicely there at home. There we go. All right. Great stuff. So now, my example I'm using this evening is the Euro USD. I look at my 1 hour graph and I see, all right, the candle that's busy forming there right now is a sell candle. So the Euro is correct, dropping in value, which means obviously that the opposing currency, which in this case is the USD, is going to be getting stronger. So I want to check now to see, is this the general trend? Is that my next candle is forming, is it going to be a bear candle, yes or no? So I go to my second one and I go to 30 minutes. Yes, and there we go. The 30-minute graph confirms the same thing. It's busy coming down. But as you can see, there's a lot of movement over there. So this is quite an interesting graph to be trading on. And between you and me, it's one of my favorites. I love trading Euro USD. Okay. 15-minute graph, it's doing the same. So what have I done now? I've now looked at three different time slots or time zones, as it were. And it's confirmed that all three of them are saying, yes, this is what is happening. Okay, and it's now asking me to change my color scheme, so let's do that. Yes, right now, hopefully that will leave me alone for the rest of the evening. I just love doing it. As soon as I get started with the webinar, this thing pops up there. Never does it during the day. But okay, so that's its happiness is. Now I want to put in my trade. Again, then obviously I would then go to my new order. I've now decided, do I want to buy? Do I want to sell? I decide on what my volume is, all right, and I would put in my trade, correct? Okay, now if you want to have a copy of the previous webinars that we recorded, or you want to have the abbreviated version, they are available. All you do is you send us an email to support@acmgold.com. That is support@acmgold.com, or you can even set it .co.za and mark it attention Tony or Mustafa. Mustafa, you spell M-U-S-T-A-F-A. And no, it's not Mufasa like as in the Lion King. A little bit different. But anyway, let's get going, shall we? So now we want to focus on how do we set up the profiles. So what I've done now is I've now gone for an hour graph, 30-minute graph, 15-minute graph. But now if I want to see has there been changes on the other graph, I've now got to go back. Now it's time consuming. I'm sure you'll agree with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create all three graphs at the same time. So the first one that we have, as I said, would be my day trader. All right. The second one you have, and I'm going to change this one over here, and that is what we call a swing trade. Let me just increase the size of these candles for you as well so you can get a better view back home. Right, there we go. Now, if I'm going to go for a swing trader leaves his trade in for a longer period of time. A couple of days, sometimes a week, sometimes 2-3 weeks. You know, it depends on how you feel about it. Now, you'll notice, if you look at my example I'm using here, my time zones are different. Okay, they're further apart. So, first of all, my first graph would be a 1-hour graph. My second graph would be 4 hours. And the third graph would be a daily graph. Now, let's pause here for a moment, shall we? And let's see what's happening with this and how we would read this. First things first, let's go to my trend. What is the trend on the daily graph? It shows it's a lovely upward trend. Look at that. Wow, that's a beautiful climb. And for those of you that were trading in the last couple of days, wow, there were some exciting things happening with the pound and the dollar. I remember a couple of days back there where the dollar just took a nosedive like I haven't seen it do. I haven't seen it do that in a long, long time. And it just went crazy, and the euro just shot through the roof. And well, so a lot of people made a lot of money over there if they called it in the right direction. So let's have a look at the day graph. It's going up. I go to my 4-hour graph there. Wow, a lot of spikes. Look at that. Plenty spikes and things happening over there. But now look what's happening on my 1-hour graph. Now I'm glad this has happened because I want to use this opportunity to also just give you a word of caution. Especially, guys, remember these webinars that we hold are to assist you, the novice trader, in finding your way, feeling your way around, finding your feet, as it were, as to how do I use the platform, when's a good time to trade, when's not such a good time to trade, etc. And I want to emphasize something over here. If you are using your three graphs, but you are getting mixed signals, this graph says you must go this way, that graph says you must go that way, this one says, no, you're both wrong, I want to go this way. You know what's the best thing to do? Rather just wait a bit. Rather walk away for a moment and let your graphs sort themselves out and then come back and put the trade in. Okay? Don't go ahead and just put in a trade just for the sake of trading because that's an impulsive trade. You haven't thought it through properly. So check that they're doing the right thing and then put your trade in. Okay. Now, the third method of trading is what we call a position trade. Now, position trade is entirely different because look at this. This is what a position trade would do. My first graph would, in fact, instead of being an hour graph, it will be a daily graph. The second one would be a weekly graph. And the third one would be a monthly graph. Now, these are guys that put in trades and they leave them for months at a time. And you probably find it's long-term traders with big accounts that would do this, or even, yeah, you're right, there would be companies that would do this. So they leave it in for a long time. So, but for you as a novice trader, the first timer, you would probably not use a position trade. But, you know, never say never, as they say. Right, so what am I going to do now? We're going to come focus on, I'm going to show you how to set up a day trade graph. Right, and this is how we do it. So for now, let's close these down. Okay, there we go. I'm going to close my terminal for now because I don't really need it. All right, and I'm going to focus on just how to set up my window. Start off with my market watch. And for the purpose of the exercise, I'm going to use USD Canadian dollar. Okay, click on that, and I have to do what? I have to open up 3 graphs, not so. Great. So USD Canadian dollar, click on it. I right-click, I say chart window, and I open up 3 of those, and off we go. Right, so now, do I need my market watch? No, I don't. So let's get rid of it for the time being, shall we? And off we go. All right, so now, Richard, you've got some email that came through for you from Mustafa there, by the way. Okay, cool. Now, my graphs, how they set up, they are cascading at the moment. Can't make head or tails out of it. Hey, it does make sense. You can choose. You can either tile them vertically or, I pick one horizontally, or you can tile them vertically. Personally, I prefer using the vertical one. Now, when you come on board for our webinars for November, one of the things I'm going to be focusing on is how to actually open up new graphs and set them up the way you want to with your trend graphs. Instead, I'm going to place quite a lot of emphasis on it, and that will be the very first webinar in November. But for now, just to speed things up, I've already created my templates, okay? And I'm going to go to my templates there. First of all, I select my graph. I'm going to change it to my template, and I'm going to go to my number 4. All right, I'm just going to go straight ahead quickly. And there we go. Great. So now I've got my 3 graphs. Now remember what I said earlier on? I said we're going to focus on a day trader. So the first graph is going to be, for the purpose of the exercise, I'm going to say 15 minutes. My second graph, I'm going to make 30 minutes. And last but most certainly not least, I'm going to make my last graph 1 hour. And remember, you can if you want to. It's entirely up to you, because this is your own little business that you're running. You set it up the way you feel comfortable. What works for you may not necessarily work for me. All right. But now, look at what is happening in these graphs, guys. This is absolutely amazing. All right. This is beautiful. Right. So let's have a look at our 1 hour graph, shall we? The 1 hour graph shows, there we go. Yes, it's coming down. So it's forming a bear candle. It's coming down, correct. Secondly, let's go to my 30 minutes. There we go. It's confirming it. My 15-minute graph, wow, what a pleasure. I mean, yeah, this is just giving me the kind of signals I want. Okay, and let's look at the candles that formed just before that. Big steep climb. Now, normally when that happens, okay, normally, if it springs up too quickly like that, it's going to rectify itself, so it's going to be top heavy. Chances are that it's going to turn and it's going to come down. Okay, but then again, a word of caution. You cannot always predict the market. It pulls a dirty on you. Just when you think you've understood it, it comes back with that curveball. And what do? I use my stop loss to protect me in the event of that happening. All right. Should you decide to trade without a stop loss, guys, that's entirely up to you. But please, you know, they're there for a reason. They are your brakes. They are there to protect you. Call it your safety net if you want to. So if now, let's look at this. This is a lovely example. Let's look at that, and I now decide I'm going to put in a sell trade. Okay, and obviously I would look at my volume over there and my previous webinar, which, as I said, you can download from YouTube if you want to. Okay, I explained to you exactly how to set up your trade and how to set up stop loss and take profit. So I need to protect myself in the event of these candles here suddenly turning and going back up again. But in this event, we see, great, it's coming down. So everything is in place. I go and I put in my order. I decide how big my volume is going to be. I decide how long I want to leave it in for. I decide what my stop losses, what my take profit is going to be, and off I go. Now, I've gone through all the effort of setting up this this profile. Okay. Now, the simple thing to do now is, how do I save it? Very simple. I go along and I click on File. I go Profiles, and I say Save As, and all I do is I give it a name. How simple can that be? All right, so in this case, it is USD CAD Day Trade. All right, and off we go, and that is how simple it is to set up your profile. Now, before I finish here, I'm going to quickly go and show you of some of those that I already have. Now, I mean, I've got a whole lot that I've set up, and it's taken quite a while to do that. But as you see how easy it is? Right, so there, I can go and I can change. Now, let's say I wanted to go to, for example, gold swing trade. So I just click on gold swing trade. Okay, all right, and I'm just going to open up all three of them there, and there we go. Now, these I've been playing around with, and I've set up slightly different to my others. But now I've got my 1 hour graph for gold, 4 hours, and daily. Okay, let's just increase the candles on that one there so you guys can see nicely at home. There we are. And last but not least over here. And of course, how do I get them to fit the window? Right, well, it's my window. I go to Window, Tile Vertically, and there we have it. And folks, that is it in a nutshell. That's how you set up profiles. Next week, what I'm going to cover is how to trade Kruger Rand. Now, just to give you a little bit of a taste of what we're going to cover there, Kruger Rand you can trade in one specific thing which is so special to ACM Gold, and that is you can trade in South African rands. Okay, you don't necessarily have to trade in dollars. In my webinars planned for November, I'm going to cover how to trade on a web trader, how to choose your signal trade, and I'm going to cover how to trade commodities, more specifically how to trade gold and silver, the danger points to look out for, and the pros and cons as well. So there we go. That is it for tonight. Should you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. As I mentioned before, I don't make use of the open sessions because of the microphone. I get very bad feedback and I cannot hear a thing people are saying. So please, guys, feel free to send me an email. All right? Send it to support@acmgold.co.za, or you can send it directly to me. It's all small letters. Tony James, remember Tony spelled with a Y, Tony James at acmgold.com. Alternatively, you can give us a call during office hours. We're here from 8 until 5, 5:30, Monday to Friday, 011 784 0603, or just go to the website and you can fill in a section over there for a free callback. So from my side, good luck with your trades. And remember, if you become a millionaire overnight from your trades, I'll send you my banking details. Don't forget about me. Cheers, guys. Nice having you on board tonight.